Good morning. Good Woch. We're starting now a brand new Sichah, part of the project Likkutei Sichos. It's printed in Chelek of Gimel. First Sichah, Shlach, it's, I believe, page 92. And let's begin. Auf dem Pasuk, Shlach lecha anoshim sagen Chazal, Shlach lecha ledaitcha. As the Shiluach HaMeraglim is given, uphendik in daita shomesha, aber ani eini mitzav ischa. In regards to the pasuk that Moshe Rabbeinu is told by Hashem, send out men, Chacham learn out, Shlach means based on your judgment. Hashem left the decision whether to send the spies to Moshe's choice, telling him, Ani eini mitzava ischa, I am not commanding you. So the Rabbi says, Darfim verstehen, we have to understand. Moshe Rabbeinu is doch given an Eved Nemen von Eberstein. Moshe Rabbeinu was a faithful servant of Hashem. As davon verstandig is understood, as das was daiti shel Moshe is given zu schicken die Meraglim, es ist der Fall was azoi is given daiti shel Adonai dem Eberstein. So Moshe's decision to send spies, you must say, is according to what Hashem wants. When the pasuk is made, as the pasuk testifies, Vayishlach oisa Moshe al pi Hashem. It says clearly that Moshe sent them according to the word of Hashem, which means b'reshus shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with the divine consent. This means as the inyan from Shiluach HaMeraglim mitzad atzmai is a davar tevirotze, which means that sending spies in and of itself was a good and desirable act. The Rebbe says, "Vid Ramban is mevar," like the Ramban explains, as the derech haragel von einem in Land is durch schicken frier Meraglim zu uns gefunden, was es is der bester und geringste Weg, lichtbisch es Haaretz. Like the Ramban explains, that the ordinary manner in which one conquers land is first to send spies to investigate what is the best way to conquer, what's the best way for its objective. So, Al Pi Teva, there was really no issue to send Meraglim. That's how Al Pi Teva, that's how you investigate the land, is with spies. And since one should not rely on miracles, and it was necessary to prepare for war in an ordinary manner, so Moshe Rabbeinu agreed for the people's request to send Meraglim. The Rabbi says, "Nit verstandig." So this raises a question: Parvas hat the Eibusher das Teile given in daite shel Moshe und nit allein mit Chatchila angesagt auf dem. So now the question is, why did Hashem leave this matter entirely to Moshe's discretion and not initially deliver such a command himself? So the Rebbe says another thing. We have to understand. Rashi says that at that time they were worthy individuals. And like it's understood in a person's seichel, as Moshe Rabbeinu hat ze allein ausgeklebt, in seine Seele given, nicht nur geschehen, bechlal nur die am besten zugepasste Vater dazike Shlichus. So if Moshe Rabbeinu chose them, not only were they worthy, but they were the most suited for this particular mission. Und wie kommt es, als bei sie ist given, als größere Schiene mit einer Kotze la Kotze. Als nicht nur haben sie die Schliches nicht durchgeführt, nur sie haben durch dem gebracht auf jeden Mechila der. So now the question is, how is it possible that they underwent such a drastic change? They went literally from one extreme to another extreme. Not only did they not carry out the mission as they were supposed to, but they brought this tragedy which had affected the Yidden for generations of the Jewish people. So the Rebbe says in Beis, "Wenn das verstehen behektem abir in dem was man gefindt," we'll understand this by first clarifying, as the Shlichus is bechlal Beistand of in 2 Jahren. So this mission that the Meraglim, that the spies were sent, had two goals. Aleph, zu ausgefinden die Protem belchazan negea zu der Kibush Oretz oder isem Geimer hachozuk Geimer hamat chuli ha be machanim. So first thing is to discover a particular point of informing the relevance to conquer the land. As it's written, you shall see. In other words, you shall see the people of the land. Are they strong? Are they few? Do they dwell in open encampments or fortified cities? So that's the first thing. Parshas, see the details, see if they're strong, see if they're weak, see how they encamp and base. So oiskifin in the pratim vegen their land guf, and also to discover particulars regarding the land itself. Hatoivihi, hashmeinihi, gamer. Is it good? Is it abundant? So, in other words, the first thing is you see in regards to the people in the land, and then, or you see the to discover the particular points, which is negate to the kibush, to the actual conquer, and also based to discover the particulars regarding the land itself. Okay, so he says, when ad de kach is given negate der zweite Teil von sehr Shlichus, as Moshe hat sie angesagt, wie es chazaktem ulakachtem mit. Now, the second goal was so crucial to their mission that Moshe commanded them be courageous and take from the fruit of the land. Afal pias durchem mit den Nemen mit Prioritz stellen sie sich ein in Asakana, as me wird kennen der kennen as sie seinen menaglen. Now, even though taking the fruit would endanger them, because it would basically expose them as spies, sollen sie von deswegen sich starken und einstrecken und bringen mit Prioritz. Nevertheless, Moshe wanted and he instructed them to act courageously and strive to bring back samples of the land's produce. So the Rebbe says, is nit glatik. This is not so smooth, it's problematic. And you're right, that when it comes to the seeing and hearing is very different. Cooking was the Ebrish taught Shen that Eretz Yisrael is on Eretz. That Eretz Yisrael is a good and prosperous land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And the Yidden every Yid is inherently believers, the descendants of believers. So obviously they trusted in the Eberster. Darf dabei nicht ankommen zu Amunah, but dwelled in Eretz Yisrael, dwelled in Mitzrayim, which is not far from Eretz Yisrael. The Yidden were already aware of the type of land it was. So they were already aware of the land. Even so the knowledge and trust is, like we said, is not comparable to actually seeing the produce of the land. Kumtes aber nicht zu der Peres was wollte gehen, ist das also nötig bis zu einstellen über die Lebens von dem Menaglim. So now, obviously, we know any dem Shmir L'Re'iyah, and all the Yidden believe, they heard how great the land is, but nevertheless, when you come and you actually see the land, it's very different. So bringing back the fruit and giving the, as we said, nevertheless, the Rebbe is asking, was this purpose necessary enough to endanger the lives of the spies? So that's another question. So the Rebbe says like this, Gimel. Einer von die Biurim in dem. So one of the explanations is as follows. Hagam, as the Yisrael from Kimateri, Alpha Bikain is nasali nit aspect. So just doing is not enough. Nor is mus ich sein noch nasa. After the person does, he also has to come to the level of an ishma, and we will listen. We lashon havana in a way of understanding. As the pasuk says, we will listen. Daber ki shemei avdecha, which means speak. Your servant is listening. And azay is das oich b'shachas uknisas l'Eretz Yisrael. So this is similar to the concept. This concept applies with regards to the Yidden entering Eretz Yisrael. The Ebershter Taki Gezak Yidden Azi is an Eretz Yisrael. Hashem promised them that it was a good and prosperous land. Aber der Ebershter will as Yidden soll einsehen das Guts von Eretz Yisrael euch besichlem him. However, Hashem also desired that the Yidden should see and appreciate the good of Eretz Yisrael according to their understanding. When the Rebbe had Moshe Rabbeinu gave him bringing Prioritz, that's what Moshe Rabbeinu instructed the spies to bring some of the fruit of the land. They asked the Ratzin for Yidden to gain. And Eretz Yisrael soll sein, nicht nur weil Azay hat der Eberste geheißen, und Mele folgen, sie dem Tzive Hashem nase, nur ich mit Zad, sie allein, sie verstehen, als man darf willen gehen in Eretz Yisrael, weil sie ist die Emesse Eretz Teberchava. So, by Moshe Rabbeinu instructing the spies to bring back some of the fruit in Eretz Yisrael, he intended that after the Yidden seeing the fruits, the Yidden's desire to enter Eretz Yisrael will not only be motivated by Hashem's command and their commitment to carry out His will, but also come from their own nishma. They would appreciate that one should desire to enter Eretz Yisrael because it is taka true and a prosperous land. Dieselbe Sache ist, wenn dem ersten Teil von der Shlichus zu ausgefunden, in welcher Weg man soll Käfer sein Eretz Yisrael, als die Kavana dabei ist gewesen, als jeden sollen einsehen bis Sichah wie Yachal Nuchala. Now the same applies regarding the first goal of their mission, to discover the best way to conquer Eretz Yisrael. The Kavana was that they should perceive with their own minds that we can surely overcome Eretz Yisrael. Und das ist echt der Tam, für was der Eberste hat nicht angesagt auf Shiluach HaMeraglim, nor Shlach Lecha Ledaitcha. For this reason, Hashem did not command the spies to be sent. Instead, He told Moshe that this is all dependent on your judgment. Yes, as the Mechuvim for Shiluach HaMeraglim is to uftan. By Yidden dem Nishma b'negei der Knesset la'aretz. So since the spies were sent, that the Yidden would appreciate the positive value of entering Eretz Yisrael according to their own understanding. Like we said, it should be in a way of nishma, understanding. So therefore, it was necessary that the decision of Meraglim should come from Moshe's judgment itself. They should do this because that's what it makes sense according to logic. But not only because of Hashem is commanding. So that's why, like we explained, that's why what the Eibusher is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, Shlach l'chol ha'daitcha, ani eini mitzav, it's not a bad thing. It's just that the purpose of going to Eretz Yisrael is that not you should believe what I'm saying, but you should actually see for yourself that what I'm saying is correct. So that's what he says, Shlach l'chol, that it should be in a way. The Meraglim, the whole point of you going to Eretz Yisrael is that it should be by the Yidden in a way of Nishma. So therefore, the way that it was sent was also in the way of L'daitcha, that they should understand on their own why Eretz Yisrael is good. So he says in Dalet, damit wird man euch verstehen, wie die Meraglim, was öse Shakshirem hayu, haben gekannt, durchfallen, bis zu sagen, leinuchal alles. On this basis, we can understand how is it possible for the spies who were chosen by Moshe Rabbeinu, who Rashi says initially they were kshedim, they were worthy, to make such a mistake to the extent that they said we cannot ascend. So the Rebbe says, is given der Nishma zu ausforschen die Sache von Knesset La'aretz al pi ha'seichel, since the mission that was involved, that the Eibusher wanted the mission to be in a way of nishma. So, in other words, clarifying that the Yidden would enter Eretz Yisrael according to human understanding. So there was a possibility for them, so therefore there was a possibility for them to make a mistake with their logic and reckoning. So what was their mistake? Everything that the spies said about Eretz Yisrael and its inhabitants, they said the inhabitants are very fierce and the descendants are giants. So it was emes. They weren't lying. The Meraglim were saying the truth. And even according to when they said we cannot ascend, in other words, that it would be, they were saying that it's impossible for the Yidden to conquer Eretz Yisrael. By nature, they were right, that it was impossible for them to conquer Eretz Yisrael. So, so it comes out, now, so what comes out? It comes out that the spies carried out the mission that they were sent. We were sent to give over a report of the land. We're giving over a report of the land. What's your issue? The Rebbe says, "Der Tazer is Beistan in them was they haben bechlal meisig when a maskana lenuchal alis." Now, what was the mistake? The mistake was that they added a few words. They started becoming deizagers. We cannot ascend. Moshe Rabbeinu had by zemen the chatchilah nit gefragt, sie me ken einnehmen Eretz Yisrael nit. Moshe never asked the Meraglim whether it would be possible to conquer Eretz Yisrael or not. Hat sie bloß geschickt zu euch gefunden, wie azoi is leichter zu Käfer sein. He sent them just to find out the easiest way that Eretz Yisrael should be conquered. On the contrary, von dem Guf was Moshe hat sie geschickt Losser Saares auszuforschen, wie zu Kovish an Eretz Yisrael es gewinnt Eichacha as Yochel Nuchal Lo, the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu sent the spies out to the land and clarify the manner in which it would be best to be conquered was a proof that it was possible for them, even according to the rules of nature, to conquer. Because if the entry into Eretz Yisrael would be accomplished via miracles, in other words, above nature, there would be no reason for them to send spies. So the Rebbe says, so this that they said, that we cannot ascend not only to the Meraglim overstep their mission, nor Nochmer says, they acted contrary. All right, we'll continue tomorrow.